introduce? Tanya, I'm always forgetting about recording. So Tanya's question, because obviously now we haven't recorded that. So Tanya's question is a very good question. She started with her email nurturing and her email campaigns, and she feels that her open rate isn't very good. So her question is, should she change her content? Should she send it at a different time? Okay, so that was Tanya's question. So just Tanya, just to confirm, the message that you're sending, is it to a specific audience or is it to just your database? And what is your database made up of?
Yeah, currently it's just my general database. So it's not my ideal clients per se. It's my database that I've gathered over the years with contacts that I've made via email that I've put together in a database. So it's not a very specific database. So I do get that might also be why the open rate isn't so great. But I'm still in the testing phase and also still putting myself out there to build the database with ideal clients. So for now, the database is still very general.
Okay. And sorry, what did you say your open rate is?
It's between 35 and 40%.
Okay, that's not a bad open rate, just by the way, as well, just so that you know.
Okay.
Okay, so, and if you're thinking, how do you check open rates? If you're in your email system, you can actually go out and see, just for those that maybe didn't know. So no, that's not a bad open rate. Some email campaigns can get 2 to 10% open rate. So for me, it's every email is going to get a different open rate because everyone's going to have a different need every day. So somebody's not going to have time today, but they'll see your email. But tomorrow they've got 5 minutes, they see your email, they'll read it. So it's a good thing to, I would say, let's start at the beginning. So the database is obviously important. So is the database that you've got, is your message relevant to them? So yes, I understand that you said it's your past database. That's fine. Preferably what we want to do is define our database. So we want to segment our database. So if we've got 2 audiences, we want to segment it because like we used that example with the tire guy, he's got 2 very distinct audiences. He's got the fleet guys and he's got the walk-ins, and that is 2 different audiences. You can't send the same mailer to those 2 audiences because they've got different needs and wants. So that's a starting point. However, if you've got a database that's already existing and you don't have it by job title, if you can split it by job title, great, because I'm assuming yours goes along the line of business owners, coaches, then you've got some creatives. So you can distinguish between the audiences that you have. But although your messaging, because I've seen your emails, are quite generic, so it shouldn't be an issue. So that's fine. I think your database for now is fine. But going forward, we need to define our databases for everybody else. Okay, so if we've got B2C and B2B, and within that we've got different primary and secondary audiences, we have to try and just differentiate the 2 so we've got specific messaging. The second thing is your message obviously needs to drive value. And as I've said before, we don't sell in our messaging. We only create and tell stories and create and drive value and educate. So that's what we do in our email. And I've seen your content. Your content is great. You've basically got a bit of a flow from tips, different tips that they can use. And you've included a video, which is quite nice because that's a different form of media, which is great. So again, your open rates, I think, is really not bad. But if you're worried about it, I would then maybe say, try a different time. So if you're sending it at the moment at 10 o'clock in the morning, try and send it at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 p.m. at night or 6 a.m. in the morning. Just try and do variable times. I know the most common time at the moment is 10 a.m. in the morning. And then people also send it after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So you could try that. But other than that, don't be so hard on yourself. You've only just kicked off your nurturing campaign as well. So that's great.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? We need like questions, struggles, or you guys all great at what you do and you don't even need to be here.
Megan, it's not really a question, it's more just a comment or a statement. I've been obviously attending now for a month, and it's opened my eyes to the complete lack of marketing that we have, and the complete lack of structure, and that's why I'm listening to you, so that we can improve that. My statement or comment is, I'm feeling so frustrated and overwhelmed at the moment. I know what I need to do. I know what needs to be done. And then when I look again, a week has passed and I've done nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm alone in this. I think we lots of us feel like this. So it's just really a statement on, and maybe a bit of a question, like, I need to deal with my clients and make money, but I need to do my marketing so that I get more clients and make money. So it's just such a frustration for me at the moment. I know what I need to do, but I'm not doing anything.
No,
I know
yeah,
there's no easy answer, and it's a process.
It is a process, yeah. So marketing is not an overnight fix, and no, there's no silver bullet, and no, there's no $1 million method that I have. But the one thing that, which we'll talk about a bit later, that I want to just show you is that mindset. So it's the operation versus ownership mindset, and too much work is done in operation mode, and that's why we feel frustrated and we feel overwhelmed, because we're actually not planning. So I don't want to sound like but I am basically a coach at this point in time, and I'm telling you, we need to plan. So basically what I'm saying is, I've actually just yesterday did it, on my program, we did planning. I'm saying you have to see 3 to 6 months in advance, because if you're not planning 3 to 6 months minimum in advance in your business for your marketing, and I'm not even just saying you're posting everything. So we know you're going to launch specific things. We know you're going to have promotions for specific activities. We know you're going to, have guest speakers on board. We know you're going to do all those things, because if you're not going to think about how you're going to deliver your product or service to market, then you're not in that ownership mindset. And that is why we kind of differentiate the difference between ownership and operational. So the most important thing is, you need to take the time to just sit aside. I've got my content plan set for the next 6 months, and it didn't take long, okay? Because obviously I've had experience now, but it just takes an hour or two once a month, and just sit and focus on an Excel document, if it is, and just say, okay, we've got 6 months ahead of us. So we've got 6 months to the end of the year. We know September is hectic time, so we don't do any promotions in September. We know November, December is heavily quiet. So, okay, let's do this. So we're going to kick off a special in August to push business. We're going to kind of slow down in September. We're going to have another promotion in October. We're going to have another promotion in November and December. Okay. And it goes back to your BNR weekly thing. So this month I'm focusing on decals. Next month I'm going to focus on flyers. Next month I'm going to focus on booklets, or target segments. Like, so you become focused. Otherwise we tend to want to do everything for everybody, and actually we lose so much along the way. Because now we're like, I have to speak about decals. Shit, I must speak about flyers as well, because now, and I have to speak about school. No, we can't. So that's why I also say, very specifically, stick to your audiences, your target, or whatever you want to call it, your niche. Your target markets are key. So if your target market or your low-hanging fruit brings you the most money is schools, then stick with that. Stick with that for 3 to 6 months, and just do promotions to school, communicate to schools, engage with schools. Your ask is about schools, etc., etc. Or if you want to do a primary and a secondary audience, but you have to plan. That is the biggest mistake that most businesses don't do. And it's not to just say, but I'm not doing any Facebook advertising, and I'm not doing anything, so I'm not marketing my business. It's okay. But as long as you've got a plan, so you know that if you do send out an email, that's what the content's going to be about. If you're going to a meeting, your specific ask will be this. You're going to have a promotion this month, so you need to start communicating the promotion 6 weeks, 2 weeks before the promotion. But the problem is, none of us do that. We all sit in this operational day-to-day. Oh shit, we have to get a blog out. We haven't got a blog out this month. Oh shucks, we have to send a newsletter. Damn, it's the end of the month already. And I know that's how it is. It is like that. So it's just taking that time. Once we've got clarity who our audience is, once we've got clarity with which product we want to push, because we want to make money, so we want to push the low-hanging fruits. And if we've had buying cycles and we've got history, it's also easy for us to define which products or services do well at a specific time in year. So, hey, guess what, guys? That's when we're going to focus on those products and services because we know they do well at that time of year. If we don't have sales history, it's a different story, but that's okay. I always say go in with your low-hanging fruits, go in with the products or services that bring us the most money, and possibly the least work or the least output from our side. And that's what we kind of focus on. But if we're not planning to do that, we do lose out. And then we just grab whatever's going. And then we feel this overwhelmed and frustration. So I promise, if you have a plan in place, once you know who your audience is, you know which products or services you want to drive, because we also can't push everything. We've got to focus on one. And also, we spoke about it last night, is delivery is so important. It gives us an opportunity to do things differently, because everybody out there, as I say, can do the same thing as you, right? It's just your connections or the way you put it out there. But for me, and that's why I say marketing will set you apart and not your business, because marketing is the process of defining your product, your audience, and how you're going to take that to market. And that's different to everyone else, because as my example I had last night, if you sell Herbalife like everyone else, well, guess what? You're going to sell just like everybody else. But if you actually think, hang on, how can I do this better? Okay, I know. I'm going to collaborate with the personal coach at my gym, and I'm going to have a special with this coach. It's August next month, and all of us are ready to go on our diet. So guess what? I'm going to have a collaboration promotion with the gym instructor or personal coach at my gym, and I'm going to tell him for every whatever he sells, he gets 10%, or let's do a promotion together. And those are the things that we need to start planning, because those things don't just happen off the whim. They do. I mean, they do. Gratefully, they do. But generally, they're not very successful because they haven't had much thought. So it's just that. It is just that. It's just that we don't plan. We don't see the next 6 months in advance. So we just do what we do. We do what we do. And it's just sometimes not enough to step above the rest, to take things, to do things differently and really actually stand out. So yeah, I can waffle on, but I'll take you through mindset in the last couple of minutes through my presentation, and we can chat about that. So sorry, I'm waffling, but I'm very passionate about it, because it is that. Unfortunately, it does take a bit of work, and that's great because all of us have to work on our business. Sorry, Renal, I can see you want to say something.
Yeah, Megan, I think one of the things that I've learned, even being on this program for the past couple of weeks, sometimes you can have the best marketing going on, but it's not what people are looking for. And you've got to start measuring whether you're getting returns or whether that business is really needed as well. It's not just, we sometimes just hit marketing all the time. We just want to market and newsletters. Sometimes it's nice to take a step back and maybe reinvent yourself as well.
I love that. And I think that's another thing. And I actually had a chat with a business coach yesterday, and I said, it's so difficult to differentiate myself, because marketing in its own, some people don't even, often I'll say to people, how do you describe marketing? And generally people will say, it's my Facebook campaign, it's my website, it's my newsletter, it's my car branding. And all of that in my world is actually the latter of great marketing. For me, marketing is actually really getting, like Renal was saying, defining your product. Like, people change their businesses on my program because they come on and they've got their product that they absolutely love because they invented it 20 years ago and they're passionate about it. But the reality is the market doesn't want it, or the market doesn't want it in that form, or they're targeting the wrong market. So that is what we need to do. We completely always have to reinvent ourselves. Like I say, leave the advertising for later. Like seriously, leave the advertising for later. The most important thing for you in your business is you need clarity. Is your product offering ready? Is your audience ready? How are you going to put the message across to them? And then you can start focusing on what your website's going to say, what Facebook campaigns you're going to have. And also, don't do Facebook if you haven't got intention, because you're just wasting time and money. So you need to have those clarities to actually invest in marketing. Otherwise, I agree. And that's why my client's biggest pain point is, Megan, my marketing isn't working. Or Megan, I'm spending too much money on marketing. And the reality is that I'm like, that's cool. Let's have a look at what you guys are doing. Let's have a look at your promotions. Let's have a look at your stuff, you know. And essentially, I take them through my 12-step assessment. And the reality is they haven't done any research. They haven't asked their customers in the last 5 years or 2 years, why do they buy from them? You know, what is it that they could do better? Or why did they stop buying from them? You know, that is like basic groundwork for any business owner. Like, we should be asking our customers on a regular basis, like, what do they want from us? How can we improve our service? Please leave us a review. Please leave us a testimonial. Then basic stuff like promotional plans. None of them have promotional plans. All their campaigns they do are off the cuff. Like, let's just take a chance. We need money. Let's just do a campaign. There's no planning. And then also there's no measurement. So at the same time, they're doing campaigns, but they actually don't know if they're working. They don't know how to measure. They don't even know that they can measure. So that's what I'm saying is we need to, exactly as Reynolds said, he clearly listens to what I say, is we've all got to take a step back, and we've actually got to review everything. Like, let's start from scratch, because we obviously need to build our businesses and go along as we do. But I agree, stop wasting money on marketing until you've got the basics in place, because otherwise your messages will just be lost and they're not targeted. Sorry, Ashvini, or just Ash?
Sorry, yes. So mine is almost, I think it can be considered a pain point, but it almost ties to what you and Renal have been saying now about reinventing yourselves. And one of the challenges that we find in what we do is that oftentimes we could get pigeonholed. So if you specifically render service, because we're in the service-based industry and it's communications, whatever we put forward from an experiential sense, in COVID times, all of a sudden we had to get good at the virtual messaging. So where we would normally be able to send a camera crew out and, interview somebody and create a shoot around it, everything was done online using Teams, Zoom, or WebEx. And so the limitations were a lot more. As a result, the quality of production that we were putting out, while still strong in messaging, visually, it wasn't as glamorous, if I can say that, as what we were known for. And the fear is that as the industry slowly opens up, those big project briefs that, were flagship events that we partook in will suddenly just, pass us by, because we've been pigeonholed as these are the guys to go to. Because, in the last 2 weeks, we suddenly start getting these 911 calls, urgent video assistance. And whilst we are good at it, it's not our core function. And the fear is that we're now being pigeonholed into that component of it. So that, I don't know if anybody else has experienced something similar, but that for us is a bit of a pain point at the moment.
Okay, so I mean, that's actually very valid, and we spoke a bit about that last night, is especially in the time that we are in at the very moment. We have to shift our business to what the market wants, unfortunately, because otherwise, if we're going to sit and wait and say, well, I'm not going to do events until we go back to face, then let's be honest, our businesses are going to die. So I think the reality is maybe it's too much of a pain point for yourself that you're worried, but I think you mustn't worry too much about that. I think you're doing the right thing by adjusting to what the market needs right now, but you've still got the expertise of what you've done. And I mean, from what I've understood from our discussion is you guys have got large corporate clients. So
Yeah.
they would naturally come back to you for the services that you have given them in the past. I don't think there's any problem with that. I think you probably, and don't get me wrong, have a great opportunity right now to own the virtual event space, because I don't think there's a lot of experts in that place. And I think the reality now with the frigging virtual expos and the first virtual mall, and all these virtual activities coming to the forefront, I think it's just going to get more. And I think that's maybe a space that you can own without feeling that you're going to lose. You're never going to lose. You're just present in the moment. That's all it is. And giving your audience what they need right now, because we can't have the mentality that we need to stick to what we know.
Sure. Thank you.
Does that help?
No, definitely it does. I think, we have such a fine line when you communicating with people. Yes, there are relationships that have been forged, but at the same time, especially in our industry, because I think, out of all the industries, from the entertainment component, with everything coming to a hard stop, and regardless of the differing levels of lockdown, there's still no component or accessibility to be able to open up freely.
No.
And as a result, whilst we have the strong relationships, being able to sort of remain top of mind when people are mushrooming up with opportunities because, they've seen this online and taken out a subscription, therefore they're an expert in that field. And now you got to wade your way through that. And we find ourselves almost hitting our heads against a wall saying, okay, at which point do we step back and say, we need to draw the line here, because this is not what our experience and expertise is in line with. We can assist as and when the need arises, but it should not be priority for us. And hence, from a marketing perspective, it's in line with what Renal is saying. How do we then, because we're not essentially reinventing ourselves, but we are needing to almost get the message across more strongly that we are still who we always have been, in spite of the agility and adaptability that we've undergone in the past 16 months. Remember that when it comes down, at the core of it, this is what Make Sense Global represents, No,
absolutely. And I don't vouch that. It doesn't mean you need to become something you're not at all. All I'm saying is, for you guys as a business, you need to, how can you adapt to what the market needs right now? And with your professionalism and experience, how can you even reinvent it? How can you say, well, this is global, Makes Sense Global online? I don't know, I'm just saying that you need to do maybe some research and actually see what is it that the audience, in 5 years from now, ask your clients, are they even going to have these massive events anymore? Are people even going to have expos as much as they used to? Because now, if you can have a digital expo experience, let's be honest, we may enjoy that better than going to go stand in a queue. I don't know, that's the reality.
Well, also your reach has suddenly tripled or quadrupled.
Exactly.
Versus the live scenario, suddenly, the logistics just around travel and accommodation to accommodate that, whereas the online component. So I think the industry itself is going to be reinvented in more of a hybrid format. So definitely from that component, putting a plan, as you say, in place of how to strategically market ourselves in that aspect is going to be vital.
Yeah, I honestly think and I know I'm a dreamer, because we all are, but I think you're in actually an awesome position to, like you say, reinvent that space, because let's be honest, we're not going to go back to normal ever again. So rather be that person for the corporate clients you have and servicing already, that's now what you're going to do and how you're going to deliver it. So, I think you guys have a good opportunity, but maybe there's a bit of research that needs to be done to define exactly what people want. But I think you guys have the ability to actually to reinvent it, and that's awesome. And don't worry about what you were known for as well. That is there. That is built. That's your credibility. That's your foundation. That's not going to change. You're just now bringing that forward to where the modern age is. Well, I say modern age, but it feels like we're more modern age than we were a year ago. But yeah.
Yeah, thanks so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to usurp the conversation.
No, I mean, everything is relevant, and that it's a great question because it goes back to that perspective about, giving your audience what they need. And that is the most important. If you've defined your key audience is going to be corporates, you need to find out what is going to be the pain points with your corporates and events going forward, because they're going to set events and they're going to be cancelled, and then they're going to set events and then they're going to be cancelled. So actually they're going to say, damn it, we're going to do digital events, whatever it may be. And that's what you're then going to focus on. If you decide you don't want to do corporates and you want to focus on working with media houses, and you got to find out from them, what is it that they're going to need, so you've just got to see who's your audience. Or are you going to go for small businesses and do productions? So I think that's why I say the most important question to ask is, who's our audience? Who do we want to focus on? And like businesses is not an audience. We need to drive it down. And even in your space, you could focus on industries. You could be very specific, because I know you guys are quite big on like telecommunications and stuff. So you can be very specific in your industry and do a bit of research and find out what it is that they want, and then kind of structure it around that. Okay, cool. Can I have another question? Shane, I see you've joined us. Do you want to ask us a question?
Not really, to be honest. I'm listening because a lot of things are obviously imperative to my business. One of the biggest things is obviously I'm in a position where I've been closed down by the government 3 times. So I have to reinvent myself now, which is one of the big things I've taken from this, and start coming into the market and try and explain what I do in 3 hours in 5 minutes, or even with a leaflet. So reinventing myself, maybe I'm thinking of QR codes so they can scan to see what we do, simple stuff. I gave you my thing with the bottle that we were looking to do. So I think also the biggest thing was one of the first questions I joined in on from Melanie or somebody was finding that damn time. I mean, that's my biggest thing. To make this meeting was almost impossible for me. I'm sitting in a coffee shop trying to do my admin work and listening at the same time. So I've always asked for afternoons, but you don't do those. So, but just from my side is I think the reinvention is something massive that I've got to do, and then it's specific marketing, the same as with the communications lady. Is you're going from one aspect of your business, which was me, to now no one really wants to see me anymore, but I need to explain to them exactly what I can do in the least amount of time. So it's finding the different channels, but I think, like Melanie said, it's got to be, you've got to make that time. And I'm in the same boat she is. So it's just, I'm not good with jotting things down, writing things down. So I need to have a specific timeline to do whatever and get it done, versus obviously just relying on the old school methods that we've always used.
Awesome, thanks. And I appreciate it. Shane is our VIP member today because he's promised me every week he'd join us and he hasn't. But Shane, he's actually in the liquor industry. He does stock counting. So you can imagine he's had it hard. And he's also shared some ideas with me. And Shane, I love the QR code idea, something quick and easy. It's what people want. So we can definitely take that offline and chat about that. But just on that note, I did actually ask the people last week, Shane, if they would prefer later time, and everyone said I've got to leave it as it is. So I'm happy if you guys want to suggest a later afternoon session, like totally let me know in the chat, put your time down that you would like. I'm happy to suggest that. So I'm very flexible. Anyway, but on your question, Shane, I agree. It's like, it's almost like we can't just rely on what we used to do. Like it just doesn't work, posting on Facebook and just kind of going along and doing, this and a little bit of that. And one thing I actually spoke about with a lady last night is I was saying, why don't you look at doing sampling, or let's do like demos, or how can we get people to kind of engage with our product, but without buying, just so they can experience it, because that obviously is massive, getting people to actually experience. And then also for a lot of our service people that have got great content, we obviously want to get leads, right? Because that's the biggest pain that we all have. So what are we doing? How are we giving free content? What are we creating? So I've, for example, I've got something now called the 12 must-haves of marketing, which you can download from our website. that's a lead generator, that I can give value as to what I do, but at the same time, I can get a new lead. Okay. Obviously, you can have webinars. I mean, nothing stops nobody today to have a webinar, teaching your audience, explaining to them about, financial, what's the benefits of it for families. I mean, nothing stops us, giving free webinars. And by giving free webinars, we're getting leads because people have to register. And you can use systems like Eventbrite for free for people to register. So you don't even have to be too tech savvy to just send out a link and say, guys, join me in my free webinar. I'm going to be talking about debt, how to help you with your debt relief, or 10 questions, about what to look out for, understanding if you need to go into debt review or not. I think, as I say in the beginning of this call, is we're too proud. We don't actually value the information we have to share. We're all specialists and experts in our own right, in our own industry, but are we sharing that information by creating value, by getting people's attention so that they actually pay attention to us? So I think that's maybe just off the cuff for us to think about today is let's leave here thinking, what can I do in my industry as an expert to add value to my target market? Okay, let's do that. So we're either going to do a PDF download, we're going to do an interactive webinar, we're going to do we can do an event, we can do an online party, whatever it is, we can, like Shane wants to do the QR code, they can maybe get a whole lot of tips through the QR code, whatever. Okay, so I challenge you. So that's it. We need to start thinking differently, and how can we create value? And sampling was another one that I mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to is there any other questions? Sorry. Struggles, any other struggles? No. Okay, I'm going to quickly then just share my Prezzo, just for those that are new today. And then I just want to go through my key learning for today, because as I say, I always like to also just share a little bit. And this is also for those that have only joined for the first time. This is kind of the format of the presentation. Okay, this one's slightly different because it still says what we are about. But essentially, this is kind of the intention. Every week we have a key learning, and then I kind of put it in the presentation, and then I share it with you all so you can reference it as well. Okay, so you can all see my screen. Okay. So just a quick one for those that are new to us today. Who is the Marketing Lifeline? We, I say we because I'm proud, are an outsourced and online marketing director, professional mentor, and coach that will provide you and your team with the necessary knowledge to become great marketers, or at least have a good understanding of it. The most important thing. I want you to leave here with the power to know that marketing is much more than a Facebook campaign. It's so much bigger than a website. It's just, it's getting all that other nitty-gritty right. We are passionate teachers, and we want to share our expertise and passion with you to help you along your marketing journey. And we want to help you take that step back and shift your marketing mindset and change it and have focus and clarity. That's my biggest objective. Okay, so just some of the things that I do. I have an online video that's available immediately for download for anyone that feels they're in the right headspace, they've got a good understanding of marketing. It's basically my 12-step process that I've done in 4 hours with 4 hours of activity. That's downloadable. I then obviously have my 12-week program. The next one kicks off on the 13th of August. And that is when I take you through step by step. We basically build an entire marketing strategy. And by the end, you walk away with your plan. But that's obviously over a 12-week period, but I highly recommend it. It's an hour a week, and it can change your business, but you just need to come with the right mindset. And that's 4,999, or we also offer 1,666 over 3 months. And then I do one-on-one mentoring. So if you feel like something is very specific in your business that you're struggling with, I can help you one-on-one, not a problem. And then our recent is our Lifeline Learning membership program. And why I love it is because it's monthly and we meet weekly. So there's constant learning, constant reminders, constant accountability, understanding that you're not alone in this space. Okay, I help entrepreneurs and business owners so that they don't have to feel overwhelmed, or if they do feel overwhelmed, they maybe know why they're overwhelmed, but we give them small bite sizes to make those small changes to their business. As I said, we meet once a week online. I kind of use my 12 steps as a guide, but it goes into quite a lot more detail obviously over the period. We look at real marketing struggles that people really face day to day. It's one key learning per week, so we make it a bit actionable. So if you can go away and you can actually physically implement something, the better. We use examples, and obviously it's guided by myself. The key benefits, obviously, it's all about continuous learning. It's improved actions, so we want to better ourselves, and then obviously we have better results. So open topic discussion was today. Our key learning for today, however, I want to finish off with is mindset. I use this in my 12-week program because when we talk about opportunities in our business, everyone's always scared. You know, what are my opportunities in my business? It's like, can I do that? I'm like, yes, you can. Because often people want to take the weaknesses in their business and translate those into opportunities, and that's wrong. The weaknesses, I expect you to work on your weaknesses because you've identified them. Opportunities is beyond that. That is the space of the growth mindset. Okay, so most of us day to day find ourselves in a fixed mindset. Failure is the limit of my abilities. I'm either good at it or I'm not. I don't like to be challenged. I can either do it or I can't. My potential is predetermined. When I'm frustrated, I give up. Feedback and criticism are personal, and I stick to what I know. Very, very common. And most of us are in this because that's how we brought up, right? We need to challenge the fixed mindset and say, damn it, no, I'm going to take control. Failure is rather an opportunity. I can learn to do anything I want. The brain is an amazing thing. Challenges help me to grow. My effort and attitude determines my abilities. Feedback is constructive. I'm inspired by the success of others. Like how? Why do we compare ourselves to everybody and want to be like everybody else? Rather encourage and inspire and try new things. So when you're defining your opportunities and what you want to do, damn well put it down and do it. Don't, oh, I can't do it. I'm not experienced in that space. I'm scared. If you're scared of it, then I reckon it's a good opportunity for your business. So we need to be in this growth mindset. We need to be positive and we need to want to challenge. So with a growth mindset, people believe that their most basic abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. Brains or talents are just a starting point. This view creates a love of learning and a resilience that is essential for great accomplishment. Virtually all successful people have these qualities. I can tell you every billionaire out there does not have a fixed mindset. Every billionaire out there has a growth mindset. And the fixed mindset is people believe their basic qualities like their intelligence or their talent are simply fixed traits. Like, but this is who I am. But I studied this. But this is what I can only do. Okay? They spend their time documenting their intelligence or talent instead of rather developing it. They also believe that talent creates success without effort. Okay, and they're wrong, just by the way. So quickly on the operational versus ownership, why taking ownership of your marketing is so important. Operational mindset, okay, not the good one. Very tactical approach. What can we do today? Shucks, let's do something. Shucks, we haven't spoken to our audience for a while. Oh, we better do something. We need more business. We need new leads. A day-to-day to-do list. Managing your social media pages. Preparing content for social media. Writing blogs or content creation. Creating graphics or marketing material. Creating videos to use in your marketing. Preparing presentations. Setting up and managing campaigns, reporting on campaigns, tracking and driving sales, managing spend. Okay, that is operational, okay, marketing. And that's great. We need to do that. But we cannot do operation without the ownership because otherwise we don't know what we're going to say on social. We don't know what our graphics need to look like. We don't know what our campaigns should say. And this could all be outsourced essentially, but with the intention of the ownership, because otherwise this is just going to be that. You know, it's just taking your business and putting it out there, and that's not going to drive any attention. And that is the biggest problem with most, but business owners will say, but I'm writing blogs, but I'm putting out campaigns, but I'm running Facebook ads. But the problem is they haven't actually stopped to think about the ownership part first. Because without having the ownership and the clear understanding, the latter is just like everyone else's. Ownership is a strategic approach. So yes, that takes a bit of planning, but it doesn't have to take your time, you know. And I often say Friday afternoons is a great time to strategize because nobody wants to work on a Friday afternoon, and Fridays are a bad time for client meetings anyway. So why don't we just rather say, stuff the bar, let's spend a bit of time on the strategy. Okay. Conduct regular research. Be familiar with your environment. What are your competitors up to? Identifying your target market segments, not target market, segments. Understanding the problems you solve. Did you ask your customers recently? Identifying what is your unique value proposition, like what actually sets you apart from everybody else. Creating benefit-driven content. Knowing your product offering by audience, very important. Different audiences want different things. So focusing on what products are specific to which audience and marrying those two. Identifying a pricing strategy. Did you know you could be creative with your pricing too? Setting objectives, understanding your promotional plan and what is your intention, okay? Can't be doing planning without an intention, and setting that plan for success so we don't feel overwhelmed. And how much you want to spend. So we plan in advance so we don't overspend. And lastly, understanding what advertising works. So don't waste your time doing Facebook campaigns if it doesn't work. Okay, so understanding what actually works. So I just wanted to touch on that today because that's where we deliver value. Okay, we want to focus on ownership. The rest is actually easy. Okay, so as I said, well, not myself, of course, but as I've shared with you, I won't even try and pronounce the surname. Changing your mindset may change the situation. And that is so true. It just takes that mindset that changes everything. Okay, so just a quick one on for the new people that are here who can join My Life Learning membership. As I said, it's a monthly program. I've got some nice personas here today. I've got startup. I need help with my business to establish my idea and build a business plan so I can get ready to go to market. She's a smart girl. Okay, we don't want to go to market without having thought through what our business or marketing plan is. A solopreneur, I'm now ready to grow my business and my team, but I need help because I need more leads and I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Or business owners who have reached a growth ceiling possibly in their business, but now they're looking for new ways to inject new ideas in their business to also grow their audience. And then lastly, marketing service agencies as well, because if you're looking to provide a better service to your audience, you need to ask those questions to allow you to also give value to your clients. So what to expect, we meet once a week online for an hour at 10 a.m. or whatever time is the most popular. I'm also happy to change that. It's always a group session of business owners led by myself. It's each week we will discuss a specific topic on market message media with one open topic per month. I don't want it to be overwhelming. It's a key learning that we can action immediately. The weekly sessions will be recorded in case you can't join, and those will be loaded on the membership area, which you can then access at your own time with the presentation. There is also a shared membership area on the website for you to access all the videos and other templates that I can share and have available for you to use. There is also going to be a private group on LinkedIn, which I will obviously invite you to, where you are obviously allowed to engage and ask questions, and I'll obviously share tips as well as we go if there's anything specific. And then it allows you to build relationships and also grow your network weekly and monthly. And the fee is 375 Rand per month, which I really don't think is bad. As I said, I think it's a piece of coffee and cake a week. And become a lifeline learner and marketing expert, I say, because actually you're just growing your business. But we use the essence and the tips of marketing. And then grow your business the Lifeline way, with longevity, with insight and intention to grow it successfully. Okay, so how to join? Oh, sorry, my little ticky there. Click on my website. So it's www.themarketinglifeline.com. You can click on the My Lifeline Learning in the top menu bar, and then you can just read through the real benefits again. And then you can click the Find Out More. Sorry, that's just shifted. Find Out More button. And then you just click Add to Checkout. and then you can become a Lifeline member. And it is a reoccurring fee. I've set it up like that. So you can set your details in once and it will just take it monthly. Or if you don't want to do that, chat to me privately. Or if you want to cancel, then you can tell me you want to cancel, and then I'll just switch you off on the system because it will be activated on my payment side. And then again, join us again next week, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Or as I said, take my free assessment to see if you even need help. I think it's a great start as well. If you haven't taken it, I'm going to drop the link in the chat now. If you know you do, but you're not sure what is the right thing for you, maybe if it's a 12-week program or maybe it's the weekly meetings, book a call with me. I'm happy to take your call. We can chat through it, or maybe you've got something specific. Or you can register, as I say, for my 12-week program that kicks off on the 13th of August. For 4,999, but it also, I have the option of 3-month payment plan, and then join the My Lifeline Learning after that if you want to, for continuous learning like Tanya has done. So she's gone through the 12-week program and now she wants to join the Lifeline Learning for the continuous learnings and accountability, because I keep reminding her how important it is to continue doing what she's doing. And already you can see she's implemented a lot of the learnings that she's done. So that's why I say, don't be so hard on yourself, Tanya. Okay, are there any questions about anything? All good. Nobody has any questions about how it works, if they want to join, if they want to come visit again for free, anything, nothing. Okay, let me just...
I really enjoyed the sessions, Megan. It's been an amazing month of learning for me from attending these sessions.
Thanks, Renal. You, and the nice thing about you is you actually implement as well. So that's when you start actually seeing results quicker, or at least having clarity. And isn't it a nice feeling when you actually go into a meeting with clarity as to what it is that you need to say, or what is your message this week, or what is your focus this month? There's nothing better, isn't it? Like, just takes the stress off your back.
Definitely.
Cool. So I've put the free assessment link in the chat if you want to pop onto that in your own time, and then as well as a call if you want to set up a call with me to chat. I'm also happy, or you can email me, no problem. But yeah, thanks so much for everyone joining me and the support. I've really enjoyed it, and I hope to see some faces in the near future.
Thank you so much, Megan. This was really informative. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ash. Thanks for joining us.
Chat soon.
Megan.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.